Yeah. So they sort of look the same, but they're not the same between these two. This one, if we come to detail, we will see it's a poly surface. And then this one, if we click and we come to detail, and it's called the mesh. So what mesh does, so I just created a mesh, right? I could create another mesh, maybe cylinder, I don't know. Okay, so this is again a mesh. So what mesh does, let's say I type in smooth, just English words as smooth. So I can smooth, you know, how many steps and, you know, and the quality of smooth. Okay, so then say, okay, and I'm smoothing based on all of them. So you can see that that's basically it. Yeah, so as you wish, you can play with this. Also, if we come to our little funny head, I'm going to, you know, show one more thing about. Where am I? I was trying to use standard toolbar to hide. Okay. So here I did some flow or something. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to say is it doesn't, it is, I remember in my first lecture, I was saying, you know, you make a pattern and you make a 2D and later on we extrude it. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be whatever this pattern. It can be, I don't know if I have my original pattern. Oh, it's already mesh. So I can make something three-dimensional. I don't need it to make a two-dimensional. Let's say I'm just making a little bow. Okay, and then I will do an array. And X I would use 5. Y I use 5. Z also, no, 5. Wait, do it. Okay. Number, okay, 5. Press enter. Y 5. Press enter. Z 5. Press enter. And the distance between so, and also I want to give you some kind of a idea. What you can do is you can create some kind of a guideline before you do pattern. Let's say my guideline is, I believe if I have a bow, I should be able to use quad. Quad is the point that's on the bow. Okay. And no, I don't like this one. You could design something that follows your this. Okay. I'll just use line. Okay. Wait. Starting. I think I'm snapping to quad. If you're not so sure you're snapping to the exactly the point, then you should remove all the rest. So do not snap to near and snap to only quad. I think that's a quad. Okay. Quad means the quarter point of this, kind of like the X and Y axis. So if I'm not doing exactly precise, I think it's fine. So because I want to arrange the bow is in a nice arrangement, not just random. So maybe I would play and try. Okay, type in 5 again, and the X, the Z I'm going to do later maybe. Spacing, so I would use this one. For example, I could snap to the other point, for example. This may not be what I exactly like, but what I mean is you can design something, so use some supporting line to analyze the shape to so that it's more precise. I don't know, does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I have a bowl, you know, if I have a bowl, okay, inside I could draw a box so that next time when I, when I arrange my X distance, I can snap, or I could, 45-degree. So I will snap the A point to the A1 point. So all of them would be arranged in a nice way. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's about the precision. So this is done, and let's say I wanted the Z as well. So no, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use a bit more interesting so that you see. So it's again, okay, 5. Y is 5. Z is also 5. So this time I'm not very precise, and okay, I have something kind of like a matrix, yeah, and press enter. So I create some kind of a matrix. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Ooh. Okay, so so I'm going to use a base point. I will, if I really like, I have to draw a point quite, quite precisely. I'm using something which later on you would learn very well from Professor Haytham, which I'm snapping to the quad point, and maybe I'm not even sure I'm doing correctly, and I'm not doing correctly. So when I zoom in, I can see it. So I will be fast tracked, and just the quad is here. Okay, so I might just use and in that case. So and to and. So if I like, I'm going to trim. So select this border, press enter, and trim off. Well, this you just have to be patient. So somehow I trimmed off that, and I'm going to trim off all of this as well, just so that it is so that when you actually flow, they would match, because the left is matched with the right, the top is matched with the bottom. So yeah, so I trimmed off all of that. So if we look at our matrix, so you see some was trimmed off, yeah? So, okay. So now this is just line. No, I need a surface. I need just a surface. Where is the surface? Okay, no. Ah, okay, I created a surface. So it doesn't matter. Okay, let's say, okay, I'm going to create a bigger ball or bigger of something, and actually create something 3-dimensional. Create something like this. This would be the target surface. Or actually, I don't know if this is not one. This is extrusion, may not work. So this is not the surface, by the way. We need to understand, so what items are. So this one is called the surface, yeah, the bowl, but this one is called extrusion. So it's not a surface if you want to function, so it doesn't work. So when you do a flow, because it's called the flow along surface, so whatever the target has to be at least the surface. Is this a surface? Still, this is called the sub D. This is also not a surface. What are the fancy surfaces? The donuts are quite a fancy surface. And check, is this called the surface? This is called the surface. So this two surface, if I'm going to use the square as a base surface and donut as a target surface, I honestly I have no idea. And what I'm trying to arrange is also three-dimensional. You know, might be more easy to apply there rather than here. So let's try both. Yeah. So or maybe some kind of a curvy surface. That should be pretty easy to construct. You know, just construct a few lines. So let's play with all of that. And once I'm done, you know, you can, I'm just using my most basic skills, constructing some, you know, very base surface. And select this thing and turn on my control point. It's a bit, and select a few control points. I don't need to select more control points. Okay, so let's see where things are. This is not a surface yet. It's just a line. Okay, but it's three-dimensional. Okay. So if you have a zoom problem, you may want to, because I have something giant in there, so it messed up with my view. So delete that. Okay, now the zooming in is a bit more normal. Okay, and create a surface. That's our basic skill surface from. Okay, so this is whatever surface. I believe it's a three-dimensional surface. Yeah, it's kind of a curvy. Okay, so so now I'm going to do. I may want to hide some of this stuff just so that they don't they don't mess. Okay, and also I do have a lot of stuff in there already, as you realize, you know. That do not. Okay, so let's do flow, you know. So flow along surface, flow along surface. Select object. Oh, I did not group them. I should group them, yeah. So it's always important to group everything together. So I would, in this case, the curve I don't need, delete. This base surface hide first so that I can select the rest. Okay, there are a little bit of junky stuff in there, you know. So when we actually design, you need it to be a bit more clear about things. So group, okay, and then unhide. So the surface came out and together with a lot of junk. So I would do flow, okay, flow along surface. Okay, select object, all of them, press enter, select a base surface. Okay, select a target. Let's do this target first. So this will be quite a galaxy because we're mapping something already three-dimensional into. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Yeah. Let me see how many. Okay, if it's making sense, sum up. Okay, so yeah, so you're good. You know, we can do this and do another flow, really fun. And I'm going to flow on the donut. Okay, flow along surface, select object, press enter, select my base surface and select my target surface. Let's see what this one is. I don't know. You can see it's taking a little bit of time. Yeah, this is very funny. Okay, I'll hide this. So so what also is interesting is this shape. is quite stretched, right? Agreed? Because before was a little bow, but this one is stretched. Why? Because they're not the same proportion, you know, because the donut, although doesn't look long, the donut is actually quite much longer surface, you know. So the donut, the length of the donut is a very long surface. It's about this long, you know. So the donut is also disproportional, you know. So it's a narrow, you know, the height is only this much, but the diameter is much. So whatever, and a lot of this flow has something to do with with a with the proportion. So if you look at the some like, do I have something? I don't know. Have, you know, like a bracelet, you know, you designed a very beautiful pattern and then you flow it and made a bracelet, and then but it's stretched very weirdly because your original pattern, for example, is a square, but when you flow onto something, it becomes like a, you know, the height is still this much or height is this much, but much longer. So the proportion of the surface are not the same. So that's why when you flow something, they appear to be a bit strange. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.